Live.
We
What's
are
up, people?
live.
Welcome to another episode of the Day1 Mentality podcast, where we talk about the number one thing that has the ability to make or break your dream, your mentality. My name is D1M Pilot. His name is Mo. He's a fitness coach, the steady athlete. This is episode 21. Let's talk about the relationship between confidence and self-discipline. But before we do, bro, where in the world are you?
We have D1M mentality in Albania. Woohoo!
Bro, what are you doing in Albania? I've got many questions.
I've not been kidnapped. I am well. Okay, so please don't worry, guys. I'm happy. I'm
Just
enjoying.
blink,
I'm just on holiday.
just blink 3 times if you are in any danger.
But I'm in the middle of nowhere, in front of an amazing waterfall, and yeah, really cool, really cool.
Show
Albanian
the
people,
waterfall.
lovely.
Let's see the waterfall.
Sorry.
Let's see the waterfall.
It's I'm not right in front of it because
Ah,
I have to go a bit far from it just for the sound. But 50 meters away from the waterfall. Believe me,
fair
I am.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Good, man.
How
How
are
you
you,
been? How you
Mr.
been?
Future Pilot?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Can't complain. Busy making that money, building that dream, living the dream at the same time. Yeah, I had a nice little flight yesterday, actually. Uh,
Nice.
Introducing some more people to general aviation, which I think it's amazing that I get to do that. So I'm very grateful. Did a bit of filming, so hopefully Netflix will be knocking on my door very soon. And they'll be buying the documentary that we've kind of started filming or filmed yesterday. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a good week.
Looking.
Very busy, but making progress. That's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask
When
for.
is the when is the documentary gonna come out?
No idea. I'm not editing this time. So yeah. This guy called Marvin, who I used to work with, he has wanted to like develop his filmmaking skills. So he wanted to come out and film. So yeah, he's filmed and we'll have to see. We'll have to see how long he's gonna take. I think he's working this summer as well. So he's gonna have to fit it in with work. So yeah, man. But I can't wait to see it, to be honest. It's a lot less work having to edit. So I'm quite happy about that.
Let's work for you.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Exactly. I've got a ton. I've got
Looking
like
forward to it.
2-year old footage that I still need to edit. So last week I posted another episode. This week I didn't post an episode of my flying lessons, but next week I think I'm gonna just like bring it down to like every other week. Because it is quite full on editing for me anyway, the way I like to do it. So but yeah, nah, all good, man. How's your week been? How long you been in Albania for?
Not bad. I arrived to Albania 3 days ago.
Uh-huh.
I've been traveling. I rented a car and I'm with my brother. I rented a car and we're planning to like go through Albania, enjoy the people, enjoy the culture. And so far, I have to say, I don't know why, but before coming to Albania, everyone in the UK was saying, "Oh, be careful there, can be dangerous." But so far, honestly, the people are so lovely. So I do encourage to everyone to come to Albania. Honestly, beautiful place.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? It's like where I live now. People usually say like it's a not a great area. It's not safe, but really it depends on who you are and what age, and where I work. A lot of people say
Hmm.
it's not safe, but again, it depends on who you are and what you do. Um, Slightly going off what you were saying, but for example, I remember like if you're between a boy, number one, and you're between the ages of 11 to 18, 19, 20 in London, you're more likely to end up in like some kind of issue, some kind of altercation, some kind of
Good.
conflict with like on the streets. Whereas when you get
Hmm.
beyond a certain age, like you stop being like targeted in a way. Like I remember when I was around about that age, I always used to get stopped by the police, like very often. But when I got to like 22, 23, it's like I never get stopped by the police. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's this certain age sometimes that can put you in a hot zone of issues. But right now, where I live, I go to work, come back, work at home, go to work, come back. So I'd never really get the opportunity to see the trouble around the area I live in. So it's interesting what you're
Okay.
saying. People will have their ideas on like what Albania will be, but it depends where you are in Albania, probably, and depends what you're doing as well. Like some things you do will put you in more danger zones than others. So there's always a mixed bag. I don't think anywhere is ever all bad or anywhere is ever all good. There's always like a mixture of the good
Yeah.
and the bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they're together. Interesting point. You may or may not know. You know, like when um, around people who are poor, let's say, the crime rate is usually lower. Around people who are rich, the crime rate is usually lower than compared to when the rich are right next to the poor. That's where the crimes are the highest. Did you know that?
Interesting. Interesting. I didn't. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's like,
And
gone.
yeah. No, it's just yeah. I just wanted to add that at the same time, we all have like a different experience of like this is my own experience from a like you said from a 26 year old guy coming to Albania and me telling you how it's been so far. For someone else from a different country, younger, older, they might have a completely different experience at the same
Yeah.
time.
Very
So
true.
yeah,
Very true.
yeah.
Very true. All right, man. Well, it's time for us to get into our topics for the episode. And first up, let's do accountability time. Let's switch it up. Accountability time. So
Uh-huh.
this is where we talk about, is there something that you know you should have been doing this week that you haven't been doing that would move you closer towards your goal? And if you're in the chat, you can join in with this. Yeah, you can write it down. For the sake of accountability, accountability is one of the most powerful tools you can use to help you push yourself towards your goal, right? And sometimes when we get off track, we want to like bury our heads in the sand and not see that we're off track. And so by the time we put our heads up, we're like way off track. But accountability time allows us to catch ourselves before we are way off. So with that said, Mr. Mo, what is it that you know you should have been doing this week that you haven't been doing? Confession time.
So I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna be completely honest.
This is a
Uh,
safe place. Go for it.
yeah, this week my head was focusing on holiday. I was thinking like I'm gonna go to Albania. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna have free time. So I have been quite lazy. I haven't been as organized as I should. And I think it's kind of good but bad at the same time because if I have more now that I have more time, I do need to do something with it and stay a little bit um, focused in a way. So I do want to come to a balance of being organized, but at the same time relaxed. At the same, if it makes sense.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
I do need to be more organized, even though I am on holidays.
Fair enough. Hey, what's up to people in the chat? And yes, Shofi, this is absolutely pre-recorded. Shout out to Abby. Abby, you're late. You're late. We've been waiting for you, Abby. Where have you been? Podcast started. You've not been here. So we're gonna have to charge you for being late. So last time we owed you for us being late, and this time we're charging you.
Yeah.
So let's just call it even, all right?
The good thing is she's not the only one late, but approx 1 million people are late as well.
That's
Because
very
this,
true. That's very true. That's very true. Um,
so my question
but
to you,
yeah,
D. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, go on, go on.
No, I was gonna ask you the same question.
Hmm.
What is there anything that you know you should have been doing that you haven't been doing last week, Mr. Future Pilot?
That's a good question, bro. I have to admit, man, bro, my brain is so rebellious. My brain is like, do this. My brain's like, no. Go to bed early. My brain is like, no. So yeah, but I'm still struggling with
It's
it.
good for you.
I'm still struggling with that. Um, yeah, so last couple of weeks I've been talking about like getting my bedtime routine properly. Yeah, it's not easy when things are like moving around constantly. Like, or I say constantly, I'm probably exaggerating, but yeah, it's not easy when I have to adapt to things happening. But that's the challenge of life. So this week, what would I say? What would I say?
Mhm.
I'll go with the same thing, man. I'll go with the same thing. I tried something slightly different this week, but it didn't work. So I need to just try again. Try again. Nail that bedtime routine because yeah, I keep trying to work later and then waking up later and it's not helping. So yeah, same thing. Same thing. I
Why
want to
not?
nail that.
Why not?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What's up to people in the chat? If you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. We talk about the number one thing that can make or break your dream, your mentality. And today we're going to be discussing in a little while. In a little while, we're going to be discussing the relationship between confidence and self-discipline. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Fair enough, Mr. Shofi. Uh, yeah, fair enough. So what's up, Sarah? Miss Sarah, thank you for joining us. Don't bug out the chat because I will mute you. All right, next
And
topic.
and we have to ask you this, guys. What is something that you know you should have been doing last week that you haven't been doing? You don't. If you don't feel ready to share that, to be vo- to be vulnerable, it's fine. But at least ask this question to yourself. It's a good
Very,
exercise.
very important. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you ask yourself what you know you should have been doing, but you haven't been doing, you'll come up with the answers very fast. Usually. Um, so yeah, it's a good exercise to do. Do it at home. If you put in a chat, great. If you don't, at least write it down somewhere for yourself. Because self-evaluation is so important. Totally agreed. Right, next topic. Dreams workshops. So tell me, what is the goal that you want to put forward for Dreams Workshop? And what we're going to do is for 90 seconds, I'm going to chuck some questions at you, which will seek to clarify, which will seek to amplify um, or make more significant your goal. What would you like to put forward?
I'm going to put forward activity, and I think this is going to be one of the last time I mention it in terms of like activities for the summer. I am
Uh-huh.
organizing activities during the summer,
Uh-huh.
and I would like to have 30 children in activities uh, camp.
Okay, cool. Are you ready? 1 minute, 30 seconds, aka 90 seconds. Three, two, one, go. Cool.
Let's
So,
go.
how many do you have so far? And how many do you need?
I'm happy to announce that I have 4 children already.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. And how are you going to leverage those four to increase it?
Okay, there is the summer offer, which means if each children brings in a friend or a family member under 12 years old, they get a discount.
Mhm. What's the discount?
The discount is 40, 45% discount, which I think is really good.
45% discount
Yeah.
for 45% off. Okay,
Yes.
nice, nice. Have you had any interest from those four families or groups of parents? Have you had any interest in doing that?
Um, I I believe they do, but I got the feeling like they want to test the Activ Kids first before
Before
promoting it
offering it,
to.
promoting it?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Understandable. Understandable. Are you ready to take their reviews on Google?
Uh,
And are you giving any incentive to for them to review?
ooh, I haven't asked for any review yet, to be honest, but I should.
Okay. Okay. That's something to bear in mind when you bring them when they attend to
Yeah.
like get a review then and there. It's super quick, like on their phones, bap bap bap. Or if you need a QR code, you can make a QR code and like scan book like within 2 minutes.
Right.
Like the last 5 minutes of their activities, or maybe even the end of the activity on that day, you could try do it there. I mean, it will be nicer once they go home, but you never know. You might never hear from them. So who knows? You want good feedback, you want bad feedback, you want all feedback. So yeah, something to bear in mind.
I have I have I have a good advice here from Abby. It says, so Mo, have you thought about doing a promo video for Activity? That's amazing. That's really helpful. Thank you. I will try to do that. The coming camp.
Hmm.
I'm taking note.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, helping each other achieve our dreams. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's my quote from The Walking Dead, of all places. And funny
I
enough,
would change that.
I
See,
I,
if you
before you try to change it, I actually quote that I quote The Walking Dead when I go to interviews. That's that's what my life is like. They're like, "What do you think about teamwork?" Well, actually, I've got a quote from The Walking Dead, and then they look at
interesting.
me. They're like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Well, there's this scene where it's like." He said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But tell me, you're about to ruin my quote, are you?
Yeah, I know a better one. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with day one mentality.
Oh, let's
Let's go.
go. Let's go. But you heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first. All right, man. I guess it's my turn now before we get to our
Yes,
main topic.
yes. I
Ooh,
would I would need I would need your help, guys, to ask questions towards to future pilot because he has everything very clear in his head. He's so quick. So
no.
we need to challenge him a little bit more. Come on, help me out.
Ooh, okay. 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 Good question. I'm going to choose, looking at my list of goals, becoming an airline pilot.
Okay,
How about that?
okay.
All right, Abby, relax. Yeah. You don't need to be that fanatical and that excited to challenge me. Like, calm
Nah,
down.
come on, Avi. Teamwork.
Relax. Just chill. You can take a 2 minute break. All right, here we go. 1 minute, 30 seconds begins now.
So when you visualize being an airline pilot, how do you visualize that goal, Dig? Which airline, what age, when is it happening, and how?
I'm not going to say what airline because if they ever see me say it on here, they'll be like, I thought your favorite airline was the other airline. Why are you saying our one? Why are you coming to us now? So I'm not going to say which airline, but I have got a
Okay.
list in my head of a couple, my top two, three. Let's say my top three. I've got them in my head, but I can't say.
Okay. Okay. When is that happening?
When will oh, this guy's frozen. He's in the middle of nowhere. He's in the middle of nowhere. This is what happens when you try to do a live stream in the middle of nowhere. But when is it going to happen? I'll give myself by 2024 right now. 25, 26. 2026, the latest. How about that? How about that? Huh? Yo, it better not be me that's frozen. Can you guys still hear me? In the chat, please let me know if you can still hear me. Is it just Mr. Mo who's frozen, or is it me? Because this guy is bugging. Check, check, check. Give us a 1 in the chat, please, if you can hear me. If my video and sound is good, give us a 1 in the chat. All right, sweet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Mo's dropped out. There we go. No more grilling for today. That's what you get. And no, I don't need to get grilled, Abby. I'm already well done. We'll give him a couple of minutes. Here we go. Here we go. There had to be one. So what short-term goals do you think can help out your long-term goal of becoming an airline pilot? Let's see. First of all, build up my hours. That's the first thing. Secondly, do my ATPL theory exams. Building up my hours. It's a bit of a funny one because I know there's some sponsored programs or one particular that has 100 hours as a limitation, which I'm actually thinking of not applying to that one now. And then there's another one that doesn't have a 100-hour limitation. So I'm not going to say which one's my favorite. But yeah, build up the hours, practice different things, challenge myself in actual flying, do ATPLs. So I'm actually considering doing my ATPLs next year. I was going to do it this year, but I'm also doing a distance degree and I want to get that done. Let's bring this guy back on. Bro, you're bugging. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am back.
Good. All right, he's back. Yeah, Abby just took on your position. If you keep slacking, bro, she's going to replace you.
What do you mean? I'm unreplaceable, man.
Ah! Yeah, she asked
Who's
what
gonna
short term.
who's gonna take you and all the million people watching us to here to this amazing
I know, it looks
all
great,
the way to
man.
Albania?
I tell you what, I do miss, like, if I want to get like that nature, I usually go to Wales, and I haven't been to Wales in a while. So yeah, no, I
Yeah.
do love it. I do love it. It's really nice. But Abby asked what short-term goals are going to help me to get there. And I was just saying, number one, getting my flying hours up and practicing like specific skills. Two, do my ATPL theory exams, which I'm planning to do next year. I was going to do it this year, but I decided not to because I'm also doing a degree, as well as working full time, as well as film editing, as well as providing a scholarship, as well as trying to build Future Pilot 901, etc., etc. So I think ATPLs will have to start next year. That's some of the
That's what's
short-term
happening when you
goals.
have
Yeah, short to mid-term goals.
that's what's happening when you have so many goals and you try to do them all of them at the same time. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just made amazing. I don't know how you're able to manage all those things and do that at the same time. It's impressive.
Neither am I, but I'm looking forward to simplifying my life. In fact, I've just hired a chef. I'll have you know. so that I don't have to worry about cooking. Now, when I say I've hired a chef, yeah, what I really mean is I'm paying a company that delivers food packaged for the week. So yeah, that's that's what I mean. But yeah, I'm looking forward to making my life a lot easier because yeah, I'm doing too much. I'm doing the most. I'm doing the
Mhm.
most.
Okay.
Let's have a look here before we move on to our main topic for the day. Anything I've missed? Mo was bugging, but he's back. So Shofi was saying, yeah, that's how I think what you do. What you have to do basically today is connect to your main goal. Okay, so I'm guessing it's just a bit of agreeing that you have to break it down, connect to your main goal, and work through the short-term goals. All right, cool. Faster and the smartest way. I don't get into the goal faster and the smartest way. One, I think what I've realized in particularly in aviation, but it's true everywhere, is I could literally be in a position, right, where I say to myself, oh, do you know what, Mo? Yeah, I've been thinking. Yeah, every day I get on the train, every day I walk. I was thinking I want to go different places. I want to be able to move faster and not be stuck to the rails. So I was thinking, do you know on the rails, have you ever seen those things that go round and round on the train? Yeah. I was thinking if I take 4 of those, yeah, and then maybe I put like a flat bit on top, and then I can sit on it, and then maybe I can get something to push me forward, and I can like change directions. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that. Here's a piece of wood that I've been carving that I'm going to use for the bottom of that. And those 4 round things are called wheels. And that piece of wood is called a chassis. And actually, that's a car. It's already been invented. So why am I taking the time to invent something that's already been invented? So I think the fastest and smartest way to do it is to connect to people who have done it, who can help you actually move faster in the process because they already know certain things. They have a better idea of what's important and what's not so important. They have an idea of how you might navigate certain issues because they lost a lot of time with it. And they can be like, if you want to be more efficient, do it this way. So that's how I think the smartest thing is to do is to speak to people who I trust, which I have been doing, who then advise me on how to be more efficient financially, time wise, and to get there faster. So that's really the key. Otherwise, you end up having to reinvent the wheel. And that's why I say to people, isolation is a dream killer, because isolation will have you not realizing that what you're looking for is a car. And actually, that's already been invented, and you can just buy one instead of having to like redesign, reinvent one. You can just buy a car or bicycle, whatever it is that you need. So don't try to reinvent things that already exist. If it doesn't, then invent it. But if it does, use it to your advantage. So use the experience of those who have gone ahead of you to make your journey faster, because success always leaves clues, according to Les Brown. So with that said, let's go to the main topic of the day, Mr. Mo. So tell us, what do you want to talk about when it comes to the relationship between confidence and self-discipline? First of all, I want to ask you, what is confidence and what is self-discipline? And take it away.
So the way I see them two, confidence and
Mhm.
self-discipline, I see them related in a way that they could be siblings, and not just siblings, but like so they just related in a way. When sometimes when we think about being confident, we look at we imagine someone really confident, someone that is walking with a in a in a confidence way, chest up, shoulders back, and he's just not, and he's showing confidence, right? And then how self-discipline come before your confidence in a way of like, if I'm disciplined to myself, if I'm disciplined to the things that I say to myself, that I promise to myself.
1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. You got to take it slow for me. Yeah, brother? I need you to take it slower. Yes, brother?
Uh,
Okay, brother? Take it slow, make it good for me. Now, what, before you tell me that, what do you see? How would you describe self discipline? Like, what is self discipline to you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is it?
I can I can give you, so self-discipline will be if you promise yourself something, you go and do it.
Hmm.
Simple as that.
Hmm.
If you commit to something, to someone, you go and do it. Right
Sounds
now,
very
for
simple.
example, yeah, it's very simple, but it can be so challenging. I can give you an example. I committed to
Hmm.
day one mentality. I committed to you. I committed
Hmm.
to the people that are watching. I committed
Correct.
to the idea that I'm picturing
Correct.
day one mentality in a year, in two, in five. But most important, I committed to day one mentality for myself.
Hmm.
And even though I am on holidays, for example, I am committed to the idea of Saturday being connected and talking in day one mentality podcast.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think, as you said, it's a simple idea, but it's challenging. So another thought that came to mind is a Mike Tyson quote. He said, "Discipline is doing the things you don't like to do as though you love them. Doing the
Yeah,
thing that you don't like to do as though you love it. That's discipline," according to Mike Tyson. Came to mind. Do you have any thoughts on that?
definitely. I was gonna give an example as well as if you look at, if you want to be successful, if you want to be a top in something, an athlete, business, relationship wise, it's never gonna be a nice walk without challenges. Even though, imagine I'm doing the work of my dream. Imagine for
What's
you,
that?
D, being a pilot.
Hmm.
As much as you love it, there will be some aspects as a pilot that you would not love to do every day.
Hmm.
Maybe it's, I don't know, maths, or maybe it's communication skills or organization. But
Hmm.
those little things will come up to your main goal, will be becoming an airline pilot.
Hmm.
In terms of like Mike Tyson, I remember I saw his training schedule when he was 18 years old.
Hmm.
The training schedule was like waking up at 4 a.m. to
Hmm.
go for a run.
Hmm.
Do you think any Mike Tyson or Usain Bolt or
Hmm.
Cristiano Ronaldo will love to wake up at 4 a.m. every day to go for a run?
Yes. On the first day, maybe a little bit on the second day, and then after that it becomes hell.
Exactly, exactly. So in a way of like, they committed to becoming the best boxer of all time, for example.
Mm.
To be able to get there are little challenges that they have to complete every single day to get all the way to the top. And because they committed first to themselves and then to a greater goal.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And now
And just gone, gone.
and now I just have a question for you, Ed. What is, so getting the quote from Mike Tyson, what are
Mhm.
things that makes you disciplined by doing the things that you don't like? What are those things that you have to do?
Wait. I'm confused. Are you saying what are examples of the things that I don't like to do that I have to do? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, good question. Physically, let's start in my morning. So I wake up and I have to exercise, and I have to exercise religiously. I
Hmm.
can't. Maybe I can miss a day. I can miss maybe 2 days absolute max in a week. But if I don't exercise, my body will be screaming at me. My, my muscular tension goes quite loose. Then my back starts hurting. Then my knee starts hurting. Then this is
Yeah.
hurting, and that's hurting, and before you know it, I'm like struggling to get out of bed because I'm in pain. Right.
Hmm.
So the only way for me to actually ensure that I can spring out, be fresh, is I have to exercise. I have to do some resistance training. I have to stretch every day. Again, in a week, I can only miss about two, right? And these are things, this is something I discovered I had to do because of how often my back was hurting or how often my knee was hurting. So that's one. Um, Another thing I would say that I have to do is just go. Just go. Like my bias, my bias is I like to be ready. I like to know what I'm going to do, have it lined up, written down, very clear. Then I can go, right? But I just don't have that luxury. A lot of the time, I don't have that luxury. And so to me, kind of going, go, 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 go with ideas, with things like that, it's something I don't necessarily like to do, but I know I have to do.
Hmm.
Being vulnerable, something I don't like to do, but I have to do. You know, like when you're in a meeting and you're like, wait, I don't understand that. But everyone else is quiet. There's like 8 other people and they're quiet because like they're nodding along and you're thinking, wait, everybody here just understood what's going on. And I'm the only person that doesn't get it. And I've got a question.
Okay.
Being vulnerable, that's an example of being vulnerable. And it's just like, nah, I
Yeah.
have to ask it. Like I'll look dumb, maybe, potentially, but at least after I get the answer, I won't be as dumb as I was. But just kind of making myself vulnerable, I know like that's a part of my journey that I have to do. I don't like it necessarily, but it's something I have to do. And then things like I like the result, but I don't like the action itself. Or
Mm.
things like training, like at the moment, pretty much at least 5 days a week, I'm having to do like little exercises that I know will be in assessments for like getting into airlines, right? So I'm practicing those, right? It's nice to see myself progress, but starting, that's the hardest part. Just getting started. And this is why I like something that David Goggins said, because like one thing I tell myself very often recently is there's no such thing as being ready. And I know that might sound a bit off, but there's no such thing as being ready. There's no such thing as feeling ready, right? Because I'm always holding back like I want to feel ready. No, like you don't. There's no such thing. Just go and learn. Um yeah, that's something I've been telling myself a lot very recently. I was going to say something else, but it slipped my mind. I'm sure I'll come back. But anyways,
I
that's a few things that I have to do um, that I don't necessarily like, but I like the outcome, but just not the going through.
Mhm. Definitely. And then um, I do have. Just imagine you have a meeting with someone, a friend, a family member, whoever you want to picture in your head. Um, and to this person, you meet a Friday, for example, at 5 p.m. for a coffee or anything. And the same Friday, an hour before your meeting, you get a call and it says, sorry, but I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling very well. So I won't be able to make it today. But could we please make it for tomorrow, Saturday? Saturday comes, 5 p.m. again. And an hour before, it says, sorry, I'm not feeling very well. I'm not going to make it. Can we reschedule for tomorrow again, for Sunday? What would you think to someone who has failed you twice already? Would you would you believe this friend? Would you believe this family member again?
I would scroll, find their
Yeah.
name, options, delete. Don't waste my time.
But the
Do not
change
waste
here
my time.
is
I've got too much to do. How? Listen. All right. That's all I'm saying. Don't waste my time. I'll delete you and forget you existed.
so the only thing here that this person that is not committed to the promises is yourself. And unfortunately, you cannot delete yourself. So if you promise something to yourself and you come up with different excuses and you don't do it, you're actually not gonna believe your own word, which is gonna lead to not being confident enough or having a lack of confidence of your own word.
Two things.
Yes.
First of all, I remembered what I was going to say. This is why I love David Goggins. Like he was saying, sometimes you don't feel like it. And so he knows he needs to run 20 miles, but he would say, do you know what? My back, my knee, do you know, I'm just going to run 6 miles. That's it. Right. And you trick yourself to starting because sometimes the hardest part is just starting. So he goes, okay, cool. I'm just going to run easy 5-6. And as he starts running, as he says it, greatness puts mediocrity in the mud. How? As soon as you get going, then you use that momentum to actually say, do you know what? All right, I've survived the first 6 miles. Let's go. I'm still going to go for 20. Sometimes you need to reduce it in your head just so you can get started. But coming to what you're saying now, the thing is, we usually judge other people on their actions, but we judge ourselves based on our intentions. And that's why I think we make excuses for ourselves. And that's why I think we can live with the excuses we make for ourselves. Right? Because when you describe that person, now I'm judging their actions, right? I'm gonna meet on Friday, cancelled last minute. Gonna meet on Saturday, cancelled last minute. Didn't show up. Action, 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 action. But when I think of myself, was going to exercise on Friday, but I was tired from the night before. I really wanted to. I genuinely meant to exercise. Like, truly, I want to. Yeah. But I had to work late the night before. So then on Friday, I was obviously tired. And, it's not good to be so tired. Yeah. It's not good. Yeah. Rest is really important. So that's why I was resting. And I know I did say I wanted to do on Saturday, but I know I will work twice as hard on Sunday. So maybe just, it's not too bad because no, when I say I'll work twice as hard on Sunday, I genuinely mean it. Like, no, for sure. Like, really. Yeah. So I'll just work twice as hard on Sunday. And so, like, I think it's important to like focus on your social life. That's why on Saturday, I chose to like meet my friends instead of going for the run. Yeah. And I know it's Sunday and I said I'll do it twice, but maybe like, no, next week I'll run like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Next week, 4 days, not just 2. I'll do 4 days. Yeah. So Sunday. So we do that. And I think that's how we make excuses for ourselves because we judge ourselves based on intention. And it's like in the movie, yeah. You know, in the movie, when we watch a movie, we always see a good person and a bad person, a protagonist and antagonist, right? And here's something that we rarely think about. To the bad person, usually they don't see themselves as a bad person. Again, because they judge themselves from their intention. It's like, no, this happened to me, and now I'm going to revenge. Do you know, I'm going to go on a revenge spree. I'm going to like avenge myself. So, like, you never really notice, we don't notice ourselves as much. And that's why we can live with it. And that's a challenge. That's the challenge. But yeah, passing back to you, mister. What do you think of that? I hope your sound is still working because I can't hear you.
It's a challenge. It doesn't need to be something bad,
Correct.
because it could be something that I know is going to be good for me, but at the same time, I don't feel like doing it. So, in a way of like, you mentioned this before, of we ne- we never ready. We're never ready for anything. We never feel 100% ready. There's always going to be something. And with a challenge, it's kind of the same, because a challenge sometimes it can be seen of like, oof, I'm going to be suffering. This is going to be so hard. A challenge. I will have to be work. I, I will have to be working so much harder. But at the same time, it can be something beneficial for us. So if you, at least me, the way I do it, if I'm able to like see it in a different perspective of like, this is going to be good for me in the long term. So it's easier to start and easier to maintain that challenge.
And this is why I say, ultimately, thoughts are tools,
Yeah.
right? And based on the result that you want, you have to use the tools that you want, that will give you that result, right? And the truth is, like you said, like if I want to do something and I don't feel like it, then at that point in my head it's thinking, no, I need to feel like it to do it. That's the thought. That's the tool I'm using. And that's why that tool keeps me from doing it. Because in my head, the thought is I have to feel like it to do it. But when you take on a different thought and you say, for example, when I don't feel like it, that's the best time to do it. Now this becomes a different tool that you have in your toolbox. What do I least feel like doing? This is the best time to do it.
Yes.
And then suddenly your mind opens up in a different way and you start to imagine different possibilities, right? Because now you're using a different tool, and a different tool gives you different possibilities. And this is why, previous episodes we've talked about things like, be careful what story you're telling yourself, because whatever story you tell yourself, you seek to make it real.
Yeah. 100%.
And if you tell yourself it doesn't look possible, but I'm going to make it happen, or it seems very challenging, but I'm going to make it happen. That's the story you tell yourself. That's where your energies are going to go. Where
Yep.
focus goes, energy flows. Where focus goes, energy flows. And so, yeah, I think what you're saying is very important. It's so important to be mindful of the story you're telling yourself, and then know that you have the power to change that story. And if you can change your story, then you can change how you approach things, and you can change the results that you have. And as you're saying, you can then build trust with yourself. you can then build that confidence. Like there's it's amazing sometimes when you like surprise yourself. I don't know if you like, when was the last time you surprised yourself? You did something and you thought you couldn't do it, but you did it. And you're like, wow, like, well done, Mo. Like that was good, man. Like, well done. You actually made it happen. Um, it's like that really gives you a boost of confidence, you know, when you actually go for it. Um,
And
and you build in those disciplines.
and yeah, just the last thing that I wanted to emphasize a little bit more, which a lot of people know already, is something that you said already. And thoughts come to words, words come to action, and actions will lead you at the end to the person you will become. And the the promise that you do to yourself, no one knows. No one knows. Only you're gonna know. There is no contract written. So we believe like, oh, because no one knows, it's only me. I don't need to commit to this goal. But just remember that whatever you think, whatever you commit to yourself, you know that if you don't do it, you're gonna fail yourself. By failing to yourself, you're gonna speak out, or you're gonna see or demonstrate a lack of confidence. A lack of confidence will lead you to a different goal that you had in mind.
So what is, as we look to conclude, what is the relationship between confidence and self-discipline?
Self discipline, I see it as your thought. Is deep inside of you. Is your thought, and the confidence is your act. So what you speak and your actions at the end. So if you lack on on confidence, you won't be as successful towards the goal that you have put yourself in
Okay,
front of you.
help me understand that. So confidence shows in your actions, but I would say confidence has a mentality attached to it as well.
Hmm. And
And I would say self-discipline has an action attached to it as well,
mhm.
as well as being the thought. So I guess
But
in which case I would see the relationship between confidence and self-discipline as, the more self-discipline you build, the more you can stick to your words, the more you do what you said you were going to do, the more you trust yourself and have confidence in yourself that I can do this. The more you practice, the more you get up and practice, work hard, the more that when you end up on in a match, in a football match, the more confidence you will have in your ability, because you have been working on yourself, because you have been disciplined, you've been putting in the work, you've tried shooting a million times. And so when you enter the match, you have more confidence because, well, this is not something that I'm trying to do now. This is something that I've done millions of times. And so this is just another attempt. So I feel confident. I'm not doubtful in my ability. I've built that trust with myself because of the self discipline that I have had. So that's how I read it. What do you think?
yeah, 100%, 100%. In developing a new skill, it's always difficult, right? We just trying things out. We're not sure what to expect. If you do it, if you have done it over and over again, by the time that it's your 3,000 attempts, it's gonna be, oh, I know this. I know this already because I have been disciplined enough to do this specific skill 100 times, which gonna make me confident. So I agree.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So in the chat, we've got Abby saying second law of energy there. All right, cool. Abby, yeah, we're not geeks like you. We don't know everything like that. So you're gonna have to break down the second law of energy, or at least state it. You can't just refer to it. Like, come on. Like not all of us are engineers, you know. So yeah. Break that down, or at least state the energy law or the whatever second law of energy. Yeah, man, I think that's really important. That's really important. Building trust with yourself, and I think also humility comes to play, because if you if you actually can't, for example, don't overpromise to yourself what you can do. I guess that's something that comes to mind. For example, I could say I'm going to read like 4 books in a month, right? And because that's way above what I'm capable of doing right now, I then actually end up losing trust in myself, because what I said I was going to do is so far above what I can do that I end up failing. Whereas if I say, do you know what? Okay, I'm struggling to read 4 books a month. Do you know what? I'm going to read just 1 book a month. Actually, no, that's a struggle for me. Do you know what would be a good goal? Like, maybe I'll just read 1 chapter per week. And if that's the level that you're at, accept that's the level that you're at. But when you actually do that, you build confidence with yourself as you move towards that bigger goal. Obviously, the little goals stack up to make the big goal. So set yourself up for a win. You know, that's something that comes to mind. But yeah, anyone in the chat wants to share something, this is your last chance, because we're about to wrap up. Abby says conservation of energy, and then there's your quote on energy and flowing. Where energy goes, where focus goes, energy flows, is the quote. Conservation of energy. Yeah, I guess energy does get conserved. I don't really get how that applies to this situation. Not that it doesn't, I'm sure it does, but speaking of which, brings up something that we have discussed before, Mo. We are considering actually doing call-in shows. So basically, you would have a number that you can call, and we can actually hear your voice. Then I won't get confused about things like second law of energy, because you could just say it. So if you guys think that's a good idea, why don't you drop that in the chat or in the comments below, so we know whether that's something that you would be interested in, and then we can look at how we can make that happen practically. Because yeah, we want to increase the interaction that we're having. Because if you want to go far, or if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with Day One Mentality Podcast. All right, bro. Final words for the people as we wrap up.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I hope, and I'm happy and glad I could share this with you and get things from all of you guys. So thank you, D.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure, man. And episode 21, I know, again, to some people it can seem like it's nothing, but definitely I think for us it's representative of a lot of commitment, like you said, a lot of keeping promises. And there's times when we've missed a couple of episodes, but by and large, like of late, we've kind of been very, very consistent. So yeah, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate you sharing your thoughts, having a chance to sharpen mentality, because we have dreams to make happen. And yeah, thanks to everyone who has contributed in the chat. Shout out to Abby. And I loved what you said earlier. I think it was in the earlier messages or chat where you said that, you know, sticking to your routines has kind of built your confidence of late. So that's really good. Final one, or to discipline my routine. Thanks, guys. Yeah, keep going. Let's keep progressing. All right, people. See you next week. Same time, same place. Roundabouts. Well, I'm sure Mr. Mo won't be in the same place because he seems to be traveling around. But yeah, around about the same time. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any lives. Otherwise, you won't know when we're live. So make sure that's all turned on and give us a thumbs up as well if you enjoyed the episode. Until next time, my name is D, reminding you to live your dreams.
And steady athlete to enjoy the process.
Peace out, peeps.